Our channel is dedicated to bringing you the most gripping, emotional, and unexpected moments from the world of Beyond the Gates, where secrets are never buried for long and every revelation has the power to reshape the lives of those who thought they knew exactly where they came from and who they were destined to be. Today's unfolding story centers on Bill, a man whose steady, controlled life is about to be dismantled by a single revelation from someone he thought was little more than an acquaintance. It is the kind of twist that soap operas are built upon, yet what makes this moment so compelling is not just the surprise itself, but the way it reaches back through years of silence, missed opportunities, and unspoken truths, pulling everything into question. Bill had built his adult life with the quiet determination of someone who understood the value of stability. His world was predictable, made up of routines he rarely strayed from, mornings with the same brand of coffee, days spent in the same office, evenings winding down with books and music that never failed to soothe him. He wasn't unfriendly, but he kept his circle small, not out of fear, but out of a preference for control. That control had been hard-won, shaped by a childhood that was neither tragic nor idyllic, but one steeped in unanswered questions. He was raised solely by his mother, a woman fiercely protective of her privacy. His father was little more than a shadow in family lore, a man whose name was spoken rarely and whose absence was explained only with vague, dismissive phrases. There were no aunts or uncles who visited, no extended family whose presence filled holiday dinners. To Bill, it had always been just him and his mother against the world. And that was the truth he built his identity upon. So when Devon stepped into his life with a claim so profound it threatened to upend decades of that identity, the initial reaction was disbelief. Separated by circumstances they had never been told and never been given the chance to challenge. This was not a distant cousin or a far-off branch of the family tree suddenly making itself known. Devon's words placed him directly beside Bill on that tree, on the same branch, with roots tangled deep in the same hidden soil. In the moments after hearing it, Bill's mind became a landscape of fractured memories. He recalled moments from his childhood that had never seemed important before, his mother quickly changing the subject when certain questions came up, the occasional piece of unopened mail addressed to a name he didn't recognize, the faint hesitation in her eyes when he pressed too close to the topic of his father. There was the memory of a small box she kept in the back of her closet, one he had once opened out of curiosity when she wasn't home. Inside, he had found letters he didn't understand, photographs of people he didn't know, and a birth certificate that didn't seem to belong to him. When she discovered he had been through the box, she had been more shaken than angry. As if the contents were not merely personal but dangerous to acknowledge. Now, in the shadow of Devon's revelation, all those scattered fragments began to arrange themselves into a different picture. This was not simply about discovering a sibling, it was about realizing that an entire part of his life had been deliberately erased, rewritten into a version that fit his mother's need for secrecy. And if she had done that to him, she had done it to Devon as well. That thought carried its own kind of grief. For the years they had lived parallel lives without knowing the other existed. For the milestones unshared, for the absence of a bond that should have been as natural as breathing. Devon's journey to this moment had not been simple. He spoke of searching for years. That Bill either did not exist or did not want to be found. By the time he stood in front of Bill, the search had shaped him into someone patient but determined, worn at the edges by the effort of uncovering truths others had worked hard to hide. For Bill, the days after the revelation passed in a fog. He went through his routines, but they felt hollow, stripped of the comfort they once held. At work, he found himself staring at his computer screen without seeing the words in front of him. At home, the books that had always offered escape sat unopened. His thoughts returned again and again to the same loop of questions without answers, possibilities he could neither confirm nor dismiss. He thought of his mother, now gone, and wondered whether she had acted out of protection, fear, or something else entirely. He imagined Devon as a child, living somewhere else, perhaps asking the same questions he had asked and getting the same evasive answers. The idea of forgiveness seemed distant, not because he didn't want to give it, but because he didn't yet know who it should be directed toward. Devon had not caused this. It was not just the years apart, it was the erosion of trust in the narrative of his own life. Yet beneath the anger and confusion, there was something else forming. Something quieter but no less powerful, a sense that this was a chance, however imperfect. In Devon, there was the possibility of building something that had been denied to them both. To the messiness of building family from the ground up. It meant stepping outside the controlled boundaries he had spent years constructing. But it also meant that the story of his life could expand, that there were chapters yet to be written that might hold joy as well as pain. The revelation had broken the sealed container of his identity, and no matter how tempting it might be to try to put the lid back on, Bill knew it was too late. The truth had spilled out. And now the only path forward was to decide what to do with it. As the sun set one evening in the week after the revelation, Bill stood at his window, looking out over the city he thought he knew. Grappling with his own questions and hopes. The distance between them was not measured in miles but in the weight of the years that had kept them apart. Closing it would take more than a single meeting, more than shared blood. It would take time, effort, and a willingness to face the truths that had been buried for too long. And so, toward a future neither could yet fully see. What lay ahead was uncertain, but it was alive with possibility, and that was something worth holding on to. And every revelation changes everything. And that was something worth holding on to. And every revelation changes everything.